congratulations to last week's winner, Comic Fam. We got more comics to discuss. We're talking about single price record breakers, the comics that didn't quite make our Hot 10, but records you gotta know regardless. Hit the subscribe, slap the like. Stay tuned to the end. You know we're gonna have a giveaway for the community. And Jem, let's start them off with some Penguin goodness at number 10.
That's right, we're talking some golden age DC goodness with Detective Comics 67, a book that never has gotten love on any one of our lists. And by the way, this is kind of a crazy list. We're talking about a CGC 4.0, a book that hit market 2018 and sold for $3K. It's up 93%, almost doubling up, selling for $5,777.
This is the first cover appearance of the Penguin, and it's memorable. You're never going to forget this cover if this is the first time you've seen it, because yes, that is indeed Penguin with Batman and Robin on the cover, but Penguin is riding an ostrich. At the list at number 9, we're talking some Fantastic Four key moments. We're talking about a major moment for our Green Giant. We're talking Fantastic Four issue 25, the second appearance of Captain America in the Silver Age, but also the first solo battle between the Hulk and the Thing.
And we have two sales to report on here. A CGC 8.5. This sold for $1,875 back in April, and it's up 54%, now selling for $2,888.
I really believe in this book. I think it's undervalued and has room to grow because this is some major moments for multiple characters in the MCU. A 9.0 going for $2,195 back in January 2020, up 97% this week. Members getting prepared, catching up. We have a $4,320 sale this week. Next on the list at number 8, we're going to keep the Cap spec going with Captain America 100.
This is the first solo title Captain America book of the Silver Age, and it's a coveted issue for collectors. A CGC 1.5 sold for just $65 back in August. Well, you ain't gonna get it for $65 anymore. It's up 162%, now selling for $170.
Literally fresh off the heels of getting thawed out of that damn ice. Next on the list at number 7, Strange Tales 159, the first appearance of Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
We're talking Strange Tales 159, and it seems like they're prepping Contessa to be the next Nick Fury of the MCU. There's a CGC 7.0 to report on, a book that sold for $228 back in June, up 163%, now selling for $600.
Will the Thunderbolts be getting assembled soon, courtesy of Contessa? You let me know what you think in the comment section below. It'll enter you to win a Shang-Chi issue number 1 Comic Tom Mail Call exclusive. At the list at number 6, we're talking Doc Ock, Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 3.
And probably the last familiar book you're going to see on this list. This is a classic single-digit Steve Ditko Spider-Man key, and for good reason. A CGC 9.8 came to market. Now, back in 2016, it sold for $54,500, but now, 164% increase, selling for $144,000.
Now, this is just one of a plethora of high-grade Amazing Spider-Man blue chip keys that broke an all-time record over this last couple of weeks. We actually made a video over on Gem Mint Collectibles YouTube channel where we focused on only those comic books. Go check it out, and let's chat about Man-Thing. We're talking about Adventure into Fear issue number 10, the first solo story featuring Man-Thing with 2 record breakers to report on. A 6.5 selling for $75 back in May, up 104%, selling for $153 this week. A 9.6 going for $318 back in 2018, up 199%, now selling for $950.
Those are some big gains. Moving on, next on the list, we have a pre-code horror book, Vault of Horror issue 30. Tom, why don't you let them know what pre-code horror means?
Well, we had the establishment of the Comics Code Authority when the comic industry, a lot of these comics were sold on newsstands, and like thumbnails on YouTube, the way to sell the comic was making the most strange, the craziest, the most thought-provoking cover that you could get. And with the focus on horror at the time, we saw some wild, not necessarily appropriate for kids covers. This one in particular, we're seeing somebody on a train missing their hand.
Or some type of public transport, but nevertheless, it was a pretty gruesome cover.
Well, the comics code would be implemented soon after books like this hit the press to prevent the corruption of the youth, of the innocent. But an 8.5 of this comic book came to market, last selling in 2003 for $247, up 710%, now selling for $2,000.
And sticking with rare books, we're back to DC Golden Age goodness with Detective Comics 68, the second appearance and first cover appearance of Two-Face.
Jem, didn't DC just do our DC villains dirty back in the day? I mean, this is the second appearance of Two-Face, one of my favorite villains, and the first cover appearance, and he is so tiny in that lighthouse.
I don't know, it kind of reminds me of Eazy-E in the window on the cover of Bone Thugs-n-Harmony East 1999 Eternal.
Damn right. Rest in peace, Eazy-E, and a 3.0 with no previous sales data inputted on the internet, sold this past week for $2,050.
The same thing with number 2 on the list with Black Knight number 1. No prior sales record on this grade. And this is the first appearance of the Black Knight, the original Sir Percy, ancestor of Dane Whitman. A CGC 4.5 sold for $3,900, setting the bar with this new high sale.
Now, there are only 90 unrestored copies of this book on the census. It's incredibly scarce, incredibly rare. Back in 2020, a 7.0 sold for $12,000. Considering that we have Kit Harington slated for Eternals, the ancestry of the Avengers Black Knight, Dane Whitman, is only going to push the predecessors up more in value, especially considering this is a first appearance of multiple people, villains. We have the debut of the Ebony Blade, the enchanted sword used by the Knights Templar, the first appearance of Mordred, as well as the first appearance of Morgan Le Fay, as well as the debut of Excalibur, the sword of King Arthur, for the first time in comic history.
That's a lot of firsts, and if you haven't, be the first to hit that like button on this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss one.
That's right. Let me know what you think about this list in the comment section below. It'll enter you to win this Shang-Chi issue number 1 Comic Tom exclusive. And at the list at number 1, a comic at a 9.4 that we have never seen come to market. We're talking a major Golden Age key book. Shock Suspense Stories, issue number 1.
A lot of Golden Age on this list, a lot of new books that we've never reported on, classic covers. This one is no exception. A CGC 9.4 setting the bar once again at $2,950.
Debuting in 1952 by the legendary artist Al Felstein, we have Shock Suspense Stories depicting such morbid acts of violence on the cover. We're talking an electric chair cover, a subcategory of Golden Age books that collectors are after, which is why we're seeing such hungry buyers this past week. Comic fam, like and subscribe, and as always,
geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
Enough said. Comic fam, we got 2 other videos for you to check out, and we are in active enrollment for the October mystery mail call. Link in the description, or hit ComicTom101.com. Everyone's getting a Thor 18 cover art done by Ryan Stegman. Yes, this is not only our first Ryan Stegman cover, it's our first Throg cover. Enjoy it. It's going in your box. Have a great week.